This is 4 minutes and 57 seconds of infrared sensor footage recorded in 2023 over the United Arab Emirates by United States military platform. The clip was submitted by United States Central Command to AARO and was made public through the Pursue program by the Department of War on May 8, 2026. The record accompanying the submission notes that a UAP was observed during the mission. Early in the recording, the display is effectively quiet for nearly 2 minutes with no distinct object in view. A little later, an area of contrast becomes distinguishable at the center right of the sensor display. The operator pans the sensor to place that feature near center and then narrows the field of view to zoom in on it. For an extended span, the contrasted patch remains generally centered in the frame, appearing as a compact thermal feature set against a broader background scene. Midway through the latter portion of the clip, the motion dynamics change. Movement of the sensor itself becomes more pronounced, and the feature moves erratically across the display as the platform or payload shifts. The tracking system repeatedly loses and then regains the area of contrast, producing a sequence of brief dropouts and reacquisitions. Those reacquisitions and the sensor motion are the dominant elements in the final minute and a half of the file. The imagery alone does not include an analyst conclusion, and the submission is presented without a determination about origin or intent. Observers reviewing this footage will note 3 practical interpretive challenges. 1. Thermal contrast alone cannot by itself identify a shape or a driven system because background clutter, reflections, and temperature gradients can produce compact patches of contrast. 2. Platform and gimbal motion introduce relative motion between the sensor and the scene, which can look like erratic object movement when the system is tracking or reacquiring a target. 3. Repeated loss of lock may be as much about sensor field of view and automatic tracking limits as it is about the object being observed. For investigators, the clip is still useful. Frame-by-frame review, correlation with sensor metadata and platform logs, and comparison to imagery from other missions can help separate sensor artifacts from persistent targets. Even without those additional records, the long continuous infrared recording here allows analysts to study how the feature behaves while the sensor pans and zooms, how thermal contrast changes with view angle, and how the tracking system responds to brief losses of signal. The mission note submitted with the video gives this case the status of an unresolved UAP report forwarded for review. That administrative path is what makes the file part of the official archive and worthy of further technical scrutiny. This clip matters because it combines a relatively long infrared observation with repeated reacquisitions under active sensor control, and because it was passed to AARO by United States Central Command through the Pursue program, creating a documented record for future analysis. Viewers who want to follow the evidence should watch the clip through the initial quiet period, observe how the sensor centers on the area of contrast, and then focus on the later segment where tracking becomes intermittent. Technical conclusions are not attached to this presentation, but the imagery and the mission note together form a traceable submission for researchers and archivists to examine.